Press a button, vehicle right in front of your door. How do we make sure we give you a vehicle anytime, anywhere in this country? It has challenges. We are a software company. The magic what we do is connecting customers and other stakeholders. When we formed our core purpose, joyful mobility for a better life, everything that we do is about creating joy. I related to an old story where a driver walked into our office and said, "Mahatya, making a magic wage." If I may put it, we are the first 4.0 company. 5 years ago, the company was a data-driven company. Today, we are calling ourselves a more AI-driven company. It's been a roller coaster ride. 10 years doesn't seem like 10 years. It's like a 2-year, 3-year journey.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Echelon Brand Finance 100 Most Valuable Brands in Sri Lanka 2025. And today joining me is a friend, founder and CEO of PickMe, Digital Mobility Solutions, proper name, Jiffry Zulfer. Welcome, Jiffry.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Just finished 10 years of operation.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
In this 10-year journey, what are your major milestones? Now, PickMe is a leading digital mobility solution provider in this country, a local brand, listed. You're riding very high. What are the major milestones in getting there?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride. I can tell you that 10 years doesn't seem like 10 years. It's like a 2-year, 3-year journey. We've had ups and downs. But just to answer your question, if I'm to pick a few high moments, I think the first would be raising my first round of capital. I knew I could, obviously with the track record I was holding on to, but I think it's still a challenge, right? I met one of the investors in a gym, right? Right. I made a pitch to another investor, and everything sort of stacked very well. So I think that to me was surprising, but I think that was a pivotal point, because if I hadn't got that endorsement at the beginning from my seed investors, I would have, had issues going forward. And I think the most important thing is getting the right people on board. Because if I had got the wrong people on board, we would have had other issues as well. So till date, we've had no issues when it came to investors, the people who supported the company from day one. We've had no issues at all. So that's been a fantastic place to be. And obviously, very blessed to have that kind of people to help the company. So that would be number one in my list. Obviously, as a company grew, we had to raise. We were all doing seed rounds. I did 3 seed rounds. And the other most important milestone was getting IFC involved. If I may put, that's some serious raising of capital. So that's Series A. We got IFC involved. Again, a big milestone for the company. It's just a rubber stamp saying that we are a recognized company in terms of governance and the opportunity that the company presents to all the other investors. So that's a key milestone. We've had many test of times, right? We had flood situations, we had COVID. So all these challenged the company, and all these challenges we were able to come out of it. I looked at. In some instances, I look at my P&L for the day and I see no revenue, right? Like when it was COVID, it was no revenue, and that's a very scary position to be at, right? Position. And I think we looked at it and said, you know what? Let's turn this into an opportunity, and that's what we did, right? So all these setbacks, we've turned it into an opportunity, and these were like little wins that I appreciate a lot, and it helped the organization to do many things. At one point, during a flood, one of our engineers said, why don't we turn our hail into hail boats and even a helicopter, right? Nice. So that's the creativity we had, right? During COVID, somebody said, now the most important thing is getting groceries to the houses. Why don't we just turn our food ecosystem to do grocery, right? Then during the economic crisis, there was no petrol, and somebody said, why don't we put up a petrol shed, right? It looked very difficult, but then, it can be done, right? So that's the beauty of a business like us. In a digital business, there's so much of opportunity that you could create.
Yeah, because I've read the brand finance report on PickMe, and I think one of the key aspects, the strength of the brand lies in its localization.
Yeah,
its ability to sort of adapt much better than any international brand as well.
Correct.
You have a very interesting logo, I think, or a vision: joyful mobility for a better life. How does that inform your day-to-day operations, your ethos?
Yeah. So I think when we formed our core purpose, which is joyful mobility for a better life, we broke it into two. One is joyful mobility, and the other piece being for better life. So I think everything that we do is about creating joy, right? I related to an old story where a driver walked into our office and said, Mahatya, this is making a magic wage, right? And that sort of reflected on all of us, right? Then our friends called up and says, Machan, making a magic wage, right? So we put all this together and we thought, hey, you know what? We are not just, it's not a software product. It's actually giving a lot of people joy in that experience. So that's one, right? We want to be creating magical experiences through our product, right? Through our software. So that's what we are building. And obviously, we also feel, and I think data has shown that we are also creating a better life to everyone, right? Not just to our customers trying to go from point A to point B, but also to our drivers, right? Just, giving a bit more data there. A driver on our platform is 80% to 90% utilized. And that's a matrix we keep measuring. Whereas a driver, a three-wheel driver in a three-wheel stand would probably be utilized somewhere like 30 to 40%, Absolutely. Right?
And I've gone past stands and seen them without any hires.
Correct. Yeah. So that helps him to earn more, though, we have also been able to provide our customers a lower price because of the utilization. And because of that, we feel that we've been able to give people a better life. Now, we're not going to stop here, right? We think we can do a lot more. We feel that the magic will continue, and we're doing a lot to ensure that that magic continues. I think for the company, it's very important, right? Joyful mobility for better life. It's how we make decisions. When it comes to a leadership meeting or a town hall in our organization, we always sort of look into that and say, does this help us to bring that magic? One, and does it help the people of our country, right? All our stakeholders, does it help? Be it even merchants, right? Does it help a merchant do a lot more business? So that's the sort of the ethos, that's the vision, that's the sort of the core purpose.
You're a listed company, 9 years operating as a private company. Now you're a listed public company. There are demands by various stakeholders, particularly investors. So how do you balance profitability, then requirement to maintain profitability? I know you're one of the earliest, mobility companies to actually be profitable, even as a private company. How do you maintain that desire together with, obviously, I see something more in your vision, right? You want to empower local communities. You want to reduce, increase digital inclusion. How do you balance all of these things?
So profitability, in my view, is very secondary. We still want to stick to our core purpose, joyful mobility for a better life. And obviously, when it comes to digitization, we do a lot of work. Our data says that we are also helping the rural get into the digital bandwagon. I can tell you, PickMe has been one of the main platforms for every citizen of this country, most of the citizens of this country, to do their first digital transaction. They've interacted on the app to do their first transaction. I've seen many people say, I've never, been able to transact online if not for PickMe. We've had many first timers, the young have also adapted to it. We have customers as young as 12 years old using the platform, right? So this has been a platform that a lot of people interact with, and they're, making their first transaction. Now they're also making their first transaction on a cashless tool as well, be it a credit card or debit card. So that's also taking place. So we are in the crust of new things, obviously getting people to transact online, and also helping people come into the digital bandwagon. So obviously that has helped. I can relate to the company when we started, right? We started in the era of all of us switching from our feature phones,
of course,
our old Nokia feature phones to smartphones, right? And I think that's the time we came in, right? And most drivers, let alone, didn't even have a phone at that time, right? And we brought them into the ecosystem, right? At that time, I can tell you, most drivers were also unbanked, right? We were surprised.
Very cashed.
Correct. We didn't realize that they were also unbanked. They were not in the financial system. And some of the bank accounts, because to register on our platform, you need to have a bank account. I realized that we were actually setting up their first bank accounts, right? So that was also eye-opener for us. I think the financial industry has also seen that uptake from platforms like us. So all that has helped to bring them into the digital ecosystem and the financial ecosystem. And I think that's what we'll keep doing, right? And we'll sort of keep that magic going so that more and more people will start using us.
Excellent. From what I can understand, you've brought in a lot of people into the digital realm. You also see an increasing number of utilization of your platform, which throws up a lot of data. How are you using this data to sort of improve people's lives, improve services, and then also, help grow the economy as well?
Yeah, you're right. I think we accumulate a lot of data. And I think what we want to do is use it to improve our experience. We're just getting into AI. The company, 5 years ago, I would say the company was a data-driven company.
Right.
Today, we are calling ourselves a more AI-driven company. Obviously, there's so much of innovation that is now taking place through AI, and we want to be on top of that. For us, it's all about experience. What can we do to improve the experience to all our stakeholders, right? We also work with stakeholders like government, like Transport Ministry, to share our data so that they can make the right decisions,
exactly.
Right? I think we have enough data to show them that, is putting a flyover in a particular place worth it or not, right? Just to give you an example. Then we also have data that we share with universities, right? So that they can do their research around it, right? We're all here in the interest of the country as well, making sure that the country also benefits through this set of data. And obviously for the organization, we're using that data to make those right decisions. We're working on new technologies through that data. And that's what we are creating. We will make sure that, obviously as a company, we use this in a responsible way. The data is being used in a responsible way so that we can make the right decisions for all the stakeholders and for the country.
And it's very heartening to hear that, a local company is really, at the forefront of adoption and partnership with the data that they have access to. The mobility market space in the country is always evolving. Consumer demand is, always getting more sophisticated. How does PickMe stay ahead of both consumer requirements, technological advancements, and also being like a pioneer in terms of introducing new services? I'm going to give an example. I've used your bidding by the drivers. I love it. I couldn't understand why anybody else hasn't done it before, because I'm happy to pay a little bit more, provided I get a vehicle quicker. I mean, this is one example, but tell me more.
Yeah, no, happy to. Thank you for appreciating that feature. We haven't had a lot of support from our customer side, but obviously we have users who really appreciate it. But on the other side, we also have drivers who love it, right? Yeah. The fact that they can sort of get a little bit more out of the customers. So I think this comes through data. Our data tells us that we need to do certain things to improve stakeholder interest, experience. So this is one capability of using our data to bring these features out. Now, as a company, how do we make sure that we keep innovating, right? Innovation is key for us. It's part of our values of the organization. We don't want what happened to, say, BlackBerry to happen to us, right? So we want to make sure that we are up on we keep innovating. And I think for us, being innovative is making sure that we understand our customers really well. All our stakeholders, be it our passengers, our food eaters, our drivers, our merchants. So we want to make sure that we understand all of that. And as an organization, we take it very seriously to ensure that we understand or live the life of all our stakeholders. And I think that's for us so key. So we want to make sure that we understand their issues. What opportunities we can create, how do we make sure that we can give them a better life, right? So that's what it is. So that means, we have our ears on the ground all the time, just making sure that we understand our stakeholders. And we want to keep making sure that we keep improving. Bidding is one example. There are many other examples. And there'll be many other features that we'll bring out just to make sure that, we stay ahead.
As a PickMe customer, looking forward to that. You mentioned floods, fuel crisis. Operating in a developing country like Sri Lanka presents very, very unique challenges that a company in another part of the world may not have. How have you adapted, and how does it set you up for the future? Hopefully, things will be less chaotic, but but you are a stronger company as well.
Yeah, I think we have to educate everyone about the digital era, right? As an organization, we are educating all our stakeholders. Of course, challenges are there. Uh, if I may put it, we are the 4.0 company, right? The first 4.0 company that has come out and listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange. So our way of workings are very different to a traditional old economic company. Now, the thinking is different. The way we make decisions are different, and that's what keeps us going. And we have to be that way, right? If not, we won't survive. Now, one of the challenges we face is, it's the policies, right? There are many policies that are still archaic in thinking, right? And because they were designed for the old economy, right? The brick and mortar economy. But now we are in the digital economy, so everything changes, right? And I think I'm sure you know about the problem with taxes,
of course,
right? As a local company,
yes.
we've been we are disadvantaged by the local taxes, whereas a non-domicile company has no taxes, right? So they operate with a free hand.
And a distinct competitive disadvantage to you.
Correct.
Because it comes in the final bill and you're wondering why you're sometimes more expensive than
exactly. So these are issues that the policymakers have to fix, and this has to be addressed fast, right? 10 years has been a long time. We haven't been able to address it. I'm hoping that in the near future it gets addressed. So these is just one example. There are other issues like consumer authority, right? The consumer authority hasn't yet thought through what a digital product is. Exactly. How do consumers consume it, right? How do you tackle that? And obviously, it goes on to many other areas, right? So policymakers have to think about digital products. Be it even labor. The world of labor is also changing, right? Today we are working from home.
Exactly.
There's flexible hours, right? And in our ecosystem, we have gig workers who come to work maybe for half an hour, 1 hour, right? So there is that needs to be addressed as well, right? So the policymakers needs to understand this and make sure that the right sort of the recommendations are put in, so that not just us as a startup 10 years ago, we'll probably see more startups coming in. They'll be encouraged to start in this country, and hopefully we should see digitization thriving in the nation.
You're in an industry that is asset light,
yeah,
and very heavily digital, which also lends itself to competition from anyone in the world, really, technically speaking. You could, sign up drivers and delivery people and startup. So how is PickMe different from any of these global players?
So we are a software company. What we do is, use the software to connect our customers to all our stakeholders. So the software does the magic, right? And that's what we do. Now, how do we stay ahead? We are essentially a Sri Lankan company built by Sri Lankans for Sri Lankans, right? Homegrown from ground up. Everything that we do it with a lot of passion. We know that we are helping the lives of Sri Lankans here, and I think that motivation runs through everyone in the organization, and we really love it, right? The fact that literally the rubber touches the road when it comes to our products, right? Right. Our engineers see that as a great what can I say, realization, right? The fact that a feature that a person builds is being used by his or her mother, father,
Absolutely.
cousin, and whatnot, and we all become ambassadors, right? So I think that's what makes the company tick so well, right? And I'm also motivated by the fact that it's people that I know are using this, and if something works very well, just like I said, they'll come and say, Machan, this is magic, right? Or else if it doesn't work well,
you will hear about it.
I hear about it firsthand, right? So that's the beauty of working for a company like us. We enjoy it, right? We see real facts, we see the data, and we all celebrate the success that we've had, right? And I think that makes me run for another 10 years, if at all, see this through and doing these wonderful, magical experiences to the people of our country and to our customers. And that's what helps us stay ahead, right? Obviously, like I said before, we want to know our customers very well. but everything that we do helps all these exercises, right? And it helps the company to stay ahead.
And I'm also touched by the fact that you care deeply about your drivers, because the drivers, any PickMe driver tells me, I get the cash very quickly compared to maybe other players where they keep it for a few days. And it's a big problem for me because I use that cash to pump fuel, for example.
Correct.
So I think this is very appreciative.
Yeah, I want to touch a bit there because a lot of people think that we always take, your audience may think that we always take the driver's side. Course. Obviously, a feature like bidding. Right?
I think you take care of them. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you take care of them.
No, what I wanted to sort of point out is that we have to pay the balancing act, right? So drivers come to us and say, you always take the customer side. And we say, no, we do balance it. Now, obviously, we are a platform provider. We do only software and it's only data that we can rely on. So it's a lot of making sure that we provide a great experience through the software to all our stakeholders.
Excellent. You have a growing platform and growing influence in society, in the economy. And I think it escaped you that the environmental impacts of what's going on is substantial. It's supposed to be monsoon season, but it's very dry here in Colombo. So what are PickMe's efforts towards sustainability and then also environmental protection and so on, because you have a really good platform and a lot of data.
Correct. So I think we feel that we envision a world if people can press a button and get a vehicle, would you actually need a vehicle in your garage, right? So that's where we are trying to build. That's the product, the experience where we are trying to build. Press a button and you got a vehicle right in front of your door. So that's where we are trying to get into, right? Obviously, it has challenges, right? In the middle of a rain, maybe be it midnight, right? Sort of the problem that we are trying to solve is how do we make sure we give you a vehicle anytime, anywhere in this country? So whatever that external factors would be, how do we keep doing that? And if we can keep doing that, I personally feel the need for a personal vehicle goes away, right? And that helps the environment. That helps in many ways, right? I want to let you know that I don't own a vehicle because I'm committed to that vision to make sure that we continue working on that, right?
Makes two of us. I completely rely on mobility solutions to get me everywhere.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we don't sort of disappoint customers like you, right? So how do we make sure that we keep doing that? So I think if we can get more people behind or in most of these shared vehicles, we feel we can reduce the vehicles on the road. We can reduce traffic. We can reduce pollution, right? And that's what we are trying to do. Now, obviously, public transport, mass transit is a big one, right? How do we encourage more people to get into those? And that's a problem we also would like to solve because it is a highly regulated space, right? And like I said, the policymakers have thought of the old world. Now the new world is here and they need to encourage digitization of those products. And we can play a big role in that, right? Because we have the data, we know customer behaviors. It's essentially being able to use that very well on trains, on buses. And I think if we can try solving that, we will be able to fix transport as a whole, but also help the environment, commute time, pollution and all that, right? There's something else. Our organization have been talking a lot about it, women participation in workforce, right? We do a lot of that as an organization. We also have seen data that working women, when they have a child, maybe 2 or 3, they get off the workforce because they need to focus on the children. We have a challenging environment, right? You have to send your kids to school, right? And most of the time, it's the parent or it's the mother who does this. And then obviously some mothers go with the kids, right? And then they are committed to that cause. And then, they forget about work. They stay at home. We are also committed to seeing how we can solve that for the mothers of this country, We feel that there's more we can do as a platform provider to solve that, right? Of course, security of the child is important. Making sure that they get to school and get back, giving them that flexibility. So we are doing our little bit to do that. And then we are hoping that we can change that, right? As you know, We have a lot of women drivers on the platform
Of course,
now.
yes, indeed. They feel very safe because they have recourse. They know they can share the journey with their family.
Correct. Yeah. So that's something that we've seen taking place. And a lot of women use us on the as from going from point A to point B, which never used to happen before, right? So I think through our platform, through our products, we feel that we can do a lot more to ensure that children can be transported very well. Women can participate on the platform and essentially help the economy by bringing them into the workforce as well. So that's something that we are working hard. We feel that we can do something there, and we can certainly make a change.
Jiffry Zulfer, thank you for your time and sharing the PickMe story.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.